But I will say, like, I think when I say, like, he wasn't involved in the final third, but he was involved in a deeper role creating chances. Like, if you look at his 3 key passes, all came from deep positions. His 7 interceptions, 6 of those were in his own half. So I think he started plays. And then you look at, like, the goals Arsenal scored, and he's hanging back really deep. He's not involved in those situations, but he's involved in just the initial build-out phase. And when he got to the ball in the final third, again, he was singing it from deep. So, and nearly had an assist, a really nice ball over the top from that position to Saka, who dribbles, cuts in, and shoots just wide. So let's play a game. Since we didn't get a good Zidane quote to do agree or disagree, on the last post-game podcast, we have Ceballos quotes to play. So as you posted on Managing Madrid today, was it today? Yeah, last night, maybe. Last night, yeah. So these are quotes from Dani Ceballos and El Laguero, which is a Spanish radio station. And he was asked about what happens next. Does he go a third year on loan, or, does he go to Real Madrid? So he says, a third year on loan? No. My goal is to return to Real Madrid and be important at the best club in the world. I believe that one day I will come back and be able to return the affection that the fans showed me. For various reasons, I didn't leave the club in the best manner. Furthermore, on Zidane, the arrival of Zidane was great news for Real Madrid. I think there is no better manager for Madrid than him. He also talked about Sergio Ramos' renewal, which is not related to this part of the conversation. I guess this is the part I want you to agree or disagree with. He says, I signed a long contract with Madrid. I have 2.5 years left. My goal is to succeed at Arsenal. My wish is to wear the Madrid shirt. Matt Wiltse, do you think Dani Ceballos will fulfill his wish of wearing the Madrid shirt again?
I think it's a real possibility. I do. I for one, have not given up on Dani Ceballos yet. I fell in love with the player way back when he was at Real Betis and watching him at the U19 with the U19 Spanish team and then the U21, those 2 tournaments. And he's a quality player, and he's had moments here at Arsenal. Obviously, I've been on record saying the body of work hasn't been good enough. But let's just be realistic here. If Isco leaves in the summer, there's another midfield opening. We don't have, I posted yesterday the Swiss Rambles kind of financial outlook for Real Madrid.
Yep.
If we're being honest, we don't have the funds to splash out. I mean, I'm hopeful that we can tie up Camavinga, but I'm worried that I don't know that we can. Even a signing that's considered relatively cheap, if you all things considered. So Ceballos fills that need in midfield because we need more bodies in midfield. If there's anything you notice just looking at the squad list that every week that come out is the lack of midfield. So I think he has an opportunity, but he would probably come back and be just a rotation piece. So if he's all right with that, then fine. Yeah, Ceballos, you can wear the Madrid shirt again.
Yeah, okay. So I think this is a good place to pivot to just transfer things in general, because you brought up the Swiss Ramble thread, which I think is a good thing to bring up in general, and a good reminder of what the financial situation of the club. By the way, it's not a bad financial situation. Like, everything's relative. It's bad compared to what they were a couple years ago, but it's bad because of COVID. And if you reflect on Real Madrid's financial situation compared to Barcelona's financial situation or some other big clubs in Europe, the fact that they even, to me, it's basically like a break-even type year, slightly in the black. But even that is remarkable to me that they pulled that off. To me, like, when you look at Barcelona, you're like 100 million in the red for a season like this. So it's not terrible. It's not like, oh God, disband the club, bankruptcy. It's financially healthy given the current climate, in my opinion. Okay, so, and this is relative when you compare it to other football clubs. It's fine. It just means that you're probably not going to be able to improve the roster much, given the financial means that you have and the budgeting and they're budgeting a loss this upcoming year. So here's where I think the signings might come. I think it's gonna come down to free agents, and again, like Odegaard returning from loan, other players potentially returning on loan. And I think that when you're looking at even let's talk about David Alaba for a second, okay? So David Alaba's situation is such that he's getting playing time. The complaint is not about playing time. He just wants to get paid. So he is obviously free to talk to other clubs right now. And his contract expires at the end of summer. He has rejected Bayern's offer. I don't think Real Madrid will swoop in with more money than Bayern offered. I think what will ultimately happen with somebody like him is maybe someone like Manchester City or somebody in the Premier League will swoop in and maybe pick him up with a higher salary. I'm not ruling him out coming to Real Madrid, but I just think if he wants to get paid, I don't know if Real Madrid is the one that's going to pay him. But I will say this, given that other clubs are in this state too, I don't know if it's going to be a massive bidding war, and it may be a case like this summer if there's free agents and they're looking at different contract offers. I don't think it's going to be a massive bidding war. And for that reason, I think it's, if you're going to sign someone, it might have to be a free agent where there's no transfer fee and you're going to be paying a salary to someone. So if that's the thing. Now, I guess the trick is here is like agents want to get paid too. So, I don't think Real Madrid are that eager to go into that, to start paying agents too and meeting their demands and stuff. But this goes back to the Dani Ceballos thing. 3 years on loan is rare. Does it happen? Sure, it happened with Martin Odegaard. It's happening with Jesus Vallejo right now. But I think at some point, you kind of run into the Kovacic situation where it's like, let's all just decide in the future and either sell him or bring him back. And if Isco leaves, I think to your point, that frees up a role. With Ceballos, here's where it differs to Kovacic. If you ask me who's a better player, Kovacic is a better player. I think there's a case that Ceballos is obviously more polished offensively, but in the last maybe 18 to 24 months, Kovacic, I think there's a case that he's the more well-rounded player. But Kovacic wasn't as eager to return as Ceballos is. And now to the point you're looking at Ceballos' quotes. So by the way, I don't know if it confuses you at all, Matt, but we've had different discussions on the Loan Tracker about this. It seems like he changes his tune a lot. So I don't know exactly what's in his head, but he's buttered up Zidane now too in this little in the latest set of quotes. So trying to maybe get back on the good side. But I think he's more eager to stay than Kovacic was. And you also asked the question, well, is he okay with being a rotational piece at Real Madrid? Well, I think he's actually, unfortunately for him and whatever he thinks of himself, irrelevant, because I think he's a rotational piece even at a club like Arsenal, Yeah. So I don't think necessarily he's going to go somewhere and start playing. So, I think it's an interesting one. I would rather have Isco than Ceballos. I don't know where Isco's head is at, if he wants to leave or stay, whatever. But I'm not huge on Ceballos at this point. I'm not giving up on him either. But I don't know if he will wear a Real Madrid shirt again. And if Arsenal want to buy him, I don't think Real Madrid will turn that down necessarily. But I guess it does depend on what happens with somebody like Isco, I think.
Yeah, and I always wonder to myself if Ceballos can be kind of like Rodrigo, Parejo, Canales, where he really starts to come into his own when he's like
later.
28, 29, 30. Yeah, rather than right now. So it might be worth just holding on to him. I wonder about that, but I'm kind of in the same boat as you, Kiyan.